Welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program. I'm Kelsey Kiesling.
And I'm Kendra Cook. The Dolores County Broadcasting Network is the producer of DCTV, and the Southwest TV Translator Association underwrites the news show.
If you have a news topic or tips you'd like to see covered, give us a call. The studio number is 677-4119.
Today's show is live on Wednesday at noon and rebroadcast at 3 and 6 p.m. and again re-aired on Saturday at noon, 3 and 6. Today is October 18th, 2017, and now the news at noon. An update from the Journal on the deputy found dead in his house fire last week. La Plata County Sheriff's deputy found dead last week was under investigation and resigned from the sheriff's office 3 days before he was discovered with a gunshot wound in a burning home, according to a new information press release on Tuesday. According to a news release from the sheriff's office, Deputy Jeremiah Lee informed the sheriff's office of a personnel situation in his lifetime sometime during the first week of October. The sheriff's office did not get into the specifics of the personal situation, but said it required the sheriff's office to launch an administrative investigation. Ultimately, the sheriff's office asked for the assistance of the Colorado Bureau of Investigation. On October 10th, 3 days before Lee was found dead, the deputy submitted a letter of resignation, effective immediately, to the sheriff's office. The investigation into the personal situation had not been complete, the release said. On Thursday, hours before Lee was found in his burning home, Sheriff Sean Smith requested a crisis intervention team member to check on Lee. The team member made contact with Lee at 9:15 p.m. and reportedly the conversation went well and the men made arrangements to meet for lunch in the near future, the release said. A little after 12:30 a.m. Friday, authorities received a report that Lee's home at 6491 County Road 516, less than a mile from downtown Bayfield, was on fire. Initial reports indicated a man was found inside with a gunshot wound. The man, without a pulse and not breathing, was pulled from the house but was unable to be revived. It soon came to light the man was Lee, 42, a lifelong resident of La Plata County and a deputy with the sheriff's office. According to the news release, Lee joined the sheriff's office 2 years ago, but before that he was with the Durango Police Department for 18 years. The circumstances of the fire and Lee's death remain under investigation by the Colorado Bureau of Investigation.
According to the Cortez Journal, a Cortez man suspected of murder was ruled incompetent to participate in his own defense during a competency hearing on Tuesday. Jeremiah Damron was arrested on June 20th on suspicion of homicide after the body of his mother was found behind his mobile home on the 7000 block of County Road 21.75. His preliminary hearing, originally scheduled for September 22nd, was delayed pending a mental health evaluation through the Colorado Department of Human Services. Based on the results of that evaluation, Montezuma County District Judge Todd Plew ruled Damron incompetent to proceed with the case on Tuesday and ordered him to undergo treatment at the Colorado Mental Health Institutes in Pueblo. Plew said the competency examination results, which were filed with the district court on October 11th, showed Damron had a mental disability that would prevent him from consulting with his attorney and testifying in his own defense. Both prosecuting attorney Will Furse and defense attorney John Moran said they were satisfied with the results and would not seek a second evaluation. But they also agreed on a request not to hold Damron's preliminary hearing until he was judged mentally competent to participate by mental health professionals. Moran said that based on the evaluation, he believed Damron could be restored to competency soon.
The Durango Herald reported on the Southwest Food Hub. More locally harvested produce could make it onto plates across La Plata County next fall through a new food hub. The U.S. Department of Agriculture recently granted the Durango Regional Food Recovery Hub about $355,000 for a full-time coordinator, equipment rental, and space in a Durango High School's receiving center, according to a news release. The 3-year grant will focus on supplying more produce to low-income residents, opening up new food-focused business opportunities, and reducing conflicts with bears. The long-term vision is to sell some of the gleaned food to support the distribution of food to low-income residents, Fort Lewis College Environmental Center Coordinator Rachel Landis said. Food sales are meant to open up new markets for producers, not take away from existing businesses, and are likely to start in year 2 or year 3 of the grant. Several nonprofits collaborated on the proposal, and a steering committee will oversee its development and the employee. The hub plans to start in Durango and La Plata County before expanding into Montezuma County, local First Managing Director Monique DeGiorgio said. The USDA identified Durango as a priority for funding because of its sizable food-insecure population. The project builds on past fruit and vegetable gleaning work by the Environmental Center at Fort Lewis College, BearSmart Durango, Colorado State University's Extension Office, the Garden Project of Southwest Colorado, and Healthy Community Food Systems. BearSmart Durango received a $10,000 grant from the Payroll Department earlier this year that will support the new coordinator as well. The new coordinator is expected to start this winter and recruit producers, work on platforms to connect producers and consumers, such as an app and a website with inventory lists, among other details of the expansion, DeGiorgio said. The new coordinator may be in charge of raising an additional $50,000 to hire students through the Environmental Center at Fort Lewis College. At the height of harvest, students will be able to lead teams of volunteers and work as a rapid response team to harvest produce right away. Landis has often found volunteers can't beat the bears to the fruit. The Gleaning Project will be built into the curriculum of the Environmental Center, and students will research how much food is lost on area farms to help inform the gleaning program. Gleaning will remove food sources that attract bears, which is possible even when natural food sources are plentiful.
According to the Cortez Journal, a Peruvian woman has sought sanctuary for a second time in Colorado rather than board a flight to her native country as ordered by immigration authorities. The American Friends Service Committee said Tuesday that Ingrid Encalada Latorre has sought refuge in a Fort Collins church. Latorre spent several months earlier this year inside a Quaker meeting house in Denver to avoid deportation for a 2010 conviction for possessing falsified or stolen identification papers. A deportation order was put on hold while she appealed her conviction. That appeal was denied, and Governor John Hickenlooper refused to issue her a pardon. U.S. Customs and Immigration Enforcement had granted Latorre up to Tuesday to leave the country. Latorre entered the U.S. in 2000 and has 2 U.S.-born children. In Mancos, Colorado, Rosa Sabido recently marked her 100th day in sanctuary at the town's United Methodist Church. Sabido, a Mexican national, was told in May that her application for a 1-year stay of removal was denied by Immigration and Customs Enforcement. She was ordered to leave the country or face deportation. She has lived at the United Methodist Church in Mancos since June 2nd and hopes to buy herself enough time to apply for another stay of removal and continue to seek permanent residency.
Reported by the Journal in Cortez, nearly 40% of National Park Service employees experienced some form of harassment over a 12-month period. That according to a long-awaited survey result released by the agency. The survey assessed sexual harassment, hostile work environment, and gender discrimination in the nation's parks, monuments, and recreation areas. About 19% of respondents reported gender-based harassment. 10% said they encountered sexual harassment, and 0.95% said they experienced sexual assault. Some employees reported harassment based on their race, age, or disability as well. About 50% of the Park Service permanent employees responded to the survey. A second survey aimed at seasonal employees is still in the works. On October 13th, Secretary of Interior Ryan Zinke, Park Service Acting Director Mike Reynolds, and Grand Canyon National Park Superintendent Christine Lenhertz discussed the results with Park Service employees in Grand Canyon National Park. In January 2016, the Interior Department's Office of Inspector General found systemic sexual harassment among employees working in the River District of the park. A High Country News investigation showed that widespread sexual harassment, abuse, and discrimination were occurring in parks across the nation, including Yosemite and Yellowstone. The survey makes it clear that NPS has a significant problem with harassment. It has infiltrated our organization and needs to stop now, Reynolds said in a meeting with employees. To all of the employees here in the canyon and in the field affected by harassment, on behalf of the leadership of NPS, I want to apologize and commit to you with everything available that we will better support you, she said. Employees have said for months that the Park Service has been slow to take action in response to multiple Inspector General reports in 2016 that found systemic sexual harassment and gender discrimination in parks across the country. Reynolds said the Park Service has created a new reference manual for employees, started to revamp its training programs with the help of outside teams of academics and social scientists, and modeled some of its response after the military's sexual assault program. He also said the agency plans to add more employee resource groups, as well as hold trainings to help bystanders intervene and to facilitate difficult conversations. In addition to the slow bottlenecks of processing reports, the other main concern from employees was how the agency has failed for decades to hold alleged harassers accountable, instead transferring them to other parks or promoting them. Leonard said in a press conference call that she has taken steps to improve the termination process and added that she will find some way to make sure those employees leave the agency. In the last 18 months, she said 7 Grand Canyon employees either retired or resigned when faced with disciplinary action, and 2 employees were fired. Zinke said that he has recently fired 4 employees over issues regarding abuse of power or intimidation. Zinke said that he planned to ask Congress to revise rules so that park superintendents and other agency leaders have more authority to fire employees when there are repeated, credible reports of harassment.
According to the Durango Herald, a proposed overhaul of New Mexico's state science standards for public schools came under intense criticism Monday at a packed public hearing in the state capitol for omitting or deleting references to global warming, evolution, and the age of the Earth. Comments at the hearing overwhelmingly sided against state revisions to a set of standards developed by a consortium of states and the National Academy of Sciences. Of the 55 initial speakers, none backed the standards. Public school teachers, state university faculty, Democratic Party officials, and the science chairman for a school catering to local Native American students urged the Public Education Department, led by a recent appointee of Republican Governor Susana Martinez, to throw out its proposed changes and adopt unedited standards. William Pachman, a professor and chairman of the biology department of the University of New Mexico, said state revisions would put local students at a disadvantage in the study of genetics in medicine and solutions to climate change. They delete or diminish key concepts, said Pachman, who turned in 2 like-minded letters signed by nearly 150 faculty members and academic department heads from the University of New Mexico. Students trained to these standards may not be ready to keep up with their peers from states following more rigorous standards. Public Education Secretary Christopher Ruskowski, who did not attend the hearing, wrote Sunday in a public letter that the customized standards will give teachers and families flexibility and local control around science materials, curriculum, and content. It was unclear how soon final standards will be adopted by the Public Education Department led by Ruskowski, a former social studies teacher appointed in August to lead the agency. And now, here's our weather report.
Scattered mid-level and high-level clouds are in the forecast for the day. Tonight and Thursday, a strong trough will develop over Arizona and begin to draw moisture up from Mexico that will move into the northeast late tomorrow afternoon. That will bring those very light showers to the San Juan Mountains just before sunset that we spoke of yesterday. And Friday, the trough arriving from the northwest will reach northwest Colorado and northeast Utah in the afternoon. Very light showers are expected ahead of the front late in the day. Snow levels will start above 11,000 feet and lower as temperatures come down in the evening and night. The I-70 corridor may be affected from Glenwood Springs to the east late Friday night, with snow likely in the northern and central mountains for the night. That should mostly be gone by sunrise Saturday. In our national forecast, a front reaching the Pacific Northwest by this evening will bring increasing precipitation throughout the day and into tonight. Thursday, the front will be pushing eastward over the Pacific Northwest and toward Northern California. Once the front moves into the central Great Basin, there will be showers and high elevation snow from the Great Basin to the Pacific Northwest, with a marginal risk for flash flooding in western Washington and northwestern Oregon on Thursday. Snowfall will expand throughout the Washington and Oregon Cascades and parts of the northern Rockies, with some light snowfall in higher elevations of northern California. Friday, snow will continue across the Cascades and throughout the northern Rockies. The front stalled near South Florida, and easterly flow will bring tropical moisture across the state through Friday. Heaviest rainfall will be confined to the Atlantic coastline and the southern half of Florida, with a marginal risk for flash flooding in place for the Florida's central Atlantic coastline today. Showers and thunderstorms will approach the middle and southeastern Texas coast by Thursday evening, with precipitation that will last through Friday. High temperatures in the mid to upper 70s will be possible across the northern plains on Thursday and Friday. That's 10 to 20 degrees above normal for this time of year. Elevated fire weather is possible on Wednesday and Thursday for portions of the northern high plains. In our 5-day forecast, today's high is to be 68 with a low of 45. Thursday's high will be 68 with a low of 42 and increased clouds. Friday will see a 68 high and a low of 42. Saturday will run 54 with a low of 31, and Saturday's high is 62. And now back to the news.
Reported by the Durango Herald, a new ski lift could be installed at Purgatory Resort next summer if approved by the Forest Service. The lift was previously approved by the Forest Service to be a transfer lift which would take skiers up the mountain, but would not provide top-to-bottom skiable terrain. On Tuesday evening, Purgatory held an open house at its headquarters in Durango to present the plans for the lift realignment, as well as a plethora of other upcoming mountain improvements. By installing the lift at a different alignment than previously proposed, it would meet the increasing demand for advanced terrain on the front side of the mountain. It would also help to reduce skier traffic in the congested Demon Trail area of the resort. The proposed chairlift would be 4,200 feet long, approximately 300 feet shorter than first proposed, and located 250 feet for the bottom terminal to 900 feet for the top terminal south of the previously approved lift in the mountain master plan. Purgatory also proposed a new top-to-bottom trail at the lift and a connecting trail from the lower Styx Trail to the bottom of the lift. Derek said Purgatory will seek feedback from locals, but the plan is to also eventually build a new lodge at the base of the trail. Because a portion of the improvements are located on public lands, the resort must comply with the National Environmental Policy Act, which includes disclosing the environmental impacts of the project to the public.
Researchers reporting on obesity October 11th for the American Society for Microbiology journal said that fungi may affect gut health in unexpected ways. High-fat diets may alter relationships between bacteria and fungi in mice intestines, contributing to obesity. A fungus teams up with two types of bacteria to fuel gut inflammation in people with Crohn's disease. That work was summarized October 4 in the Digestive and Liver Disease periodical. David Andes, a fungal biologist at the University of Wisconsin School of Medicine and Public Health in Madison, says that a growing body of research indicates relationships between the bacterial and fungal kingdoms can affect health. Scientists have already described links between health issues, including obesity, and gut bacteria, often called microbiome. Far less is known about the role of the gut's fungal mix, or mycobiome. Fungal biologist and pediatrician Cheryl Gale of the University of Minnesota in Minneapolis wanted to know whether high-fat diets change fungal communities as they do bacterial mixes. Gale led a team that fed mice either standard mouse chow or high-fat chow. As expected, mice on high-fat diet gained weight and their mix of bacteria in the gut shifted. Bacteria associated with obesity increased. Fungi changed too. Mice fed high-fat chow had less yeast of a specific type and more Candida albicans in their guts. C. albicans is an organism that causes many yeast infections. Her team can't yet show a direct connection between the composition of gut fungi and obesity, but they suspect that shifting interactions between bacteria and fungi might lead the host to gain weight. The results are very, very preliminary, she said. There are lots of theories to test. People with Crohn's disease have an overabundance of Candida tropicalis fungus, along with Escherichia coli and Serratia marcescens bacteria. When grown separately in lab dishes, the organisms grew fine, says Hager. They formed nice little colonies, but when you mixed all three of them together, they just grew out of control. They form these intense, large, robust biofilms. Biofilms are structured microbial communities that can shield bacteria from antibiotics, making them hard to kill. By itself, C. tropicalis grows as a harmless budding yeast, but in the presence of bacteria, the fungus stretches out into long filaments. Biofilms are bad news for the gut. Mice harboring the three organisms developed intestinal inflammation, a symptom of Crohn's disease and other bowel disorders. Hager and Genoom propose that giving Crohn's disease patients antifungal drugs and then adding beneficial fungi, such as the Cerevisiae one, could create a healthier microbe balance in the gut. Too early for doctors to change their patients' treatments based on these studies, and a full understanding of health should include all the kingdoms of life.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, the Mancus Brewing Company at 484 East Frontage Road is hosting an all-ages fundraiser for the Chicken Creek Nordic Ski Area on October 21st starting at 4 p.m. Dance to the Snow Gods will feature live music by the Afro Beatniks and Diabolical Sound Platoon. Admittance is a $5 donation at the door. There will also be a silent auction, door prizes, and food. The benefit is for the Friends of Chicken Creek, Chicken Creek, which is raising money for a new grooming machine in order to improve the safety and efficiency of volunteers, said organizer Peter Brindamore. The Chicken Creek Nordic Ski Area near Mancus offers 17 miles of rolling, groomed trails, wind through ponderosa pine forests, and include challenging climbs with views of the La Plata Mountains. The popular ski area depends on volunteer labor to keep the trails groomed. Last winter, the ski area saw 3,200 skier visits. But the Friends group struggles with keeping snowmobiles operating to pull the grooming equipment. Maintenance costs regularly outstrip the annual budget of $3,000 to $4,000, so the group is looking to purchase a modern groomer machine with a cab that costs approximately $22,000.
From the Journal in Cortez, the Mesa Verde Museum Association bookstore and tour ticket office will close its location at Colorado Welcome Center in Cortez on October 28th and will not reopen at the center next year. The bookstore has operated out of the Welcome Center for more than 10 years and has provided park visitors with an additional location to buy park tour tickets for the past 4 years. The decision to close was made by the MVMA Board of Directors in consideration of the cost of having a retail operation outside the park. We appreciate and value our long association with the City of Cortez and the Welcome Center. However, we believe it is important to focus our operation where it has proven to be the most successful and beneficial to the park and to the MVMA, said Terry Paul, Executive Director. Mesa Verde Museum Association is the park's educational partner, attempting to enhance public understanding of Mesa Verde through membership, volunteer, and publishing programs, and the operation of educational bookstores in the park and online at mesaverde.org. The next two big events in Mesa Verde are the last Free Park Days celebrating Veterans Day on November 11th and 12th, and then in December on the 14th, Mesa Verde Luminaria Night Open House.
And now for the Dolores County Sheriff's Roundup for the week of October 9th through the 15th. A county resident reported 2 dogs damaging fencing that contained chickens. A deputy responded and took a report. Dispatch transferred a call to Dove Creek Animal Control when a town resident discovered a skunk in their home. A deputy responded to a request for a civil standby from a county resident. A cell phone was found on the gas pump at the Superette. It may be claimed at the sheriff's office. The dispatch center received multiple calls regarding heavy smoke west of Dove Creek. It was traced to a controlled burn by a county business. An individual came to the sheriff's office to speak with a deputy regarding a civil dispute with a family member. A deputy was able to advise them. That's it for this week's roundup. Stay tuned for more updates next week.
Today's High Canyon Country happenings, October 21st from 4 to 7 p.m. in Ridgeway, a cask ale festival where breweries from western Colorado and beyond tap a special cask called a firkin of real ale, made in the traditional way. It's $25 for early tickets and $30 for 3 days before. Firkin Fest is a fundraiser for the Charbonneau, worthy of a cheers. Firkin style of beer is called real ale, and if you have never tried one, you are in for a treat. Each brewery will make a special cask, some with inventive ingredients, and others in a more traditional English style. Cask ale conditions in the cask itself and has no artificial carbonation, and in most cases dispensed with a gravity spout. Air is allowed into the cask, giving the ales more richness and complexity. For more details, check them out on Facebook. And also, apparently October 21st is also International Archaeology Day. And the Aztec Ruins National Monument in New Mexico invites you to come out from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. to celebrate. Some special activities include a ranger-guided tour of Aztec East, an unexcavated great house site, at 9:30 a.m. and a flint knapping demonstration from 11 to 4. Call for more information and to reserve a space on the East Ruins Tour. It's 505-334-6174. Also 10/21 Saturday from 12 to 2:30 p.m. at the Pagosa Springs Golf Course. They're hosting the Monster Golf Tournament. It has scary hole placements and Halloween-themed greens. This 9-hole round is bound to leave you ghost-like. Costumes are strongly encouraged. Open play is still available at this time. It's hosted by 7530, the Eatery, and the local golf club. All of the happenings are posted on our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page, along with the YouTube replays, weather, and original stories and local posts. To share your event or information, contact us. It's dcbnnews@gmail.com or call the station at 677-4119 and we'll be sure to get your news on air.
Thanks for tuning in. News at Noon airs live at noon Monday through Wednesday and then is rebroadcast at 3 and 6 p.m. and again re-aired Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in the same order at noon, 3, and 6.
And be sure to check us out on Facebook. It's DCTV News at Noon. Please like us there and share it with a friend.
For Kendra Cook and Jerry Tope with the News at Noon program out of Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. Thanks for watching.